I guess an oversight of my journey is it's been a long and complicated one. I've had many interactions with many different types of mental health services and different acuities of intervention. I'm more interested in perhaps adding value for whānau in some of the things that have helped me on my recovery. So it's not like a step by step by step by step thing. It's wee wawa. It goes up and down, you know, like the way I feel today is not going to be an indication of how I feel this afternoon or tomorrow or next week. And so acknowledging that for just because you felt like you were doing better yesterday and you're not doing as well today, and that's not a failure. That is actually part of the journey. As much as we have a plan to go in a linear journey, it's not going to be linear. So don't be disappointed if it doesn't end up looking straightforward. I've had multiple interactions with various systems. I think there have been pieces of each of those interactions that have helped me along the way. One of the big realizations or epiphany moments for me was a not great interaction with a mental health intervention. And I sat back and I thought, is this all there is? Is this, if this is it, do I really want this? I've looked back on it and I realized that it's actually having a sense of contribution to something else besides myself. Part of the issue that I had at the time was that I was so focused on what was going on for me and so focused on my own behavior, and with this really harsh, critical inner voice, it just kept driving me back to the same place. Looking back, I now understand that a sense of contribution, a sense of doing something for someone else, or even having an awareness of something outside of myself really helped me. But I did the simplest thing I could because I know that basic exercise helps. I felt no motivation to get up and do that for myself, and I'm not generally someone who likes routine. I found that tricky, so I got a dog, and he literally helped me get well enough to start to reflect on some of the reasons why the stuff was working. Because there were days I couldn't even get off the couch. I was just that flat. But I'd get up for my dog because he relied on me. He needed me. And without me, he wasn't going to get there. I wouldn't get up for myself, but twice a day I got up for my dog. I think he literally saved me. Of course, I have moments where I feel proud of myself for my healing journey. What I have is a sense of gratitude, and I'm really grateful for the challenging, wonderful wee wawa journey that is life. I have more of a sense of gratitude because there's been various people and animals and environments that have helped me along the way. When I couldn't see a way through, they supported me and held me safe while I got well enough to get back on the horse, right? And in those moments I've learned a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and now because of the things that I'm able to do in my mahi and in my community, I'm grateful. Pride, I think, wouldn't quite hit the mark for me, but gratitude is definitely where it's at for me. I think part of the struggle that I had early on was that I wasn't really sure of my identity. I wasn't European enough to be Pākehā, but I wasn't Māori enough to be a real Māori. And, you know, at the time that I grew up, there was all those radicals that we now recognise as leaders. And the thinking in my family at the time was, oh no, look at them. We don't want to be like them, because we were very much trying to assimilate the direction from my grandmother's generation, and the schooling that my mother had was that we were trying very hard to assimilate. So I came from a place of confusion around my own identity. As I've stepped through this journey and first of all identified my values and what's important to me as a person, the connection back into my culture has really helped to strengthen my sense of identity, and it's given me a way to consider the world that makes more sense to me, because I have a deep fundamental belief that everything is connected. I am blessed and grateful to hold hakapapa Māori as the taonga that it is. So yeah, my connection to my culture is incredibly important to me, and something that I look to deepen in some small way every day. My first piece of advice was be counterintuitive, reach out don't retreat, because any connection in that space is going to be important. It doesn't matter where you get it. It doesn't matter how you, for some people, they find it really difficult to socially connect. Sit in a place where there is at least other people. Volunteer at an animal shelter so you don't have to talk to other people, you know. Do something outside of yourself that connects you to something meaningful. It doesn't have to be people. It can be animals. It can be bushwalks. Connect to the environment. Go surfing. Connect to the water. Whatever it is that works for you, connect. Don't retreat. The second piece of advice that really, really helped me as one of those kind of light bulb moments is a friend of mine gave me this acronym, and it was simply HOPE. So it's, you know, H full stop, O full stop, P full stop, E. And he explained to me that means hold on, pain ends. And it does. Everything is constantly changing. The only true constant in the universe is change. So the pain will end. It will end. And, you know, hey, look, if you're anything like me, you might step through that several times, maybe a few more than several, but it will end because things are constantly changing. And you can be that change. A couple of observations that I have for anyone on the journey is that if this service hasn't worked, or this service hasn't worked in the past, or, you know, you've been to the hospital teams or the community teams or whatever, keep trying, right? Because the staff change, the way services are delivered changes, things are constantly changing. So reinvestigate, check in again. If it doesn't feel right, keep trying. I've been up in a particular service I'm thinking of, I've been up against them several times, and some of those interactions I actually consider were quite harmful to me, but I kept trying. And one day they made me aware that there was a kaupapa Māori service that sat underneath that, and they helped me immensely. And I simply needed to find the right connection. Health information about services is much more connected than it ever has been. So, you know, don't rely on one service. Go everywhere, look everywhere, find something that works for you, because the amount of services that are available that are delivered in very different ways at very different levels, they've changed a lot. And so what you experienced last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago is not necessarily going to be the same, and there will be other options. So keep trying. There is support available. And don't forget that there are people out there that love you. There are people out there that care. And whether you want to acknowledge it or not, whether you feel it or not, you are connected to a whānau, and a whānau is connected to you. You are part of it. Whether that's a good thing or not, or feels like a good thing or not, can vary from person to person. I get that, right? But you are connected. And whānau is far, far more than biological whānau. Whānau is those you love, those who love you, those who have connection to you. Your journey is important to them too. So yeah, keep trying. Hold on. Pain ends.